What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. TFD is here once again with some breaking news straight off the wire. And listen, just when you think Project B can't shake things up anymore, boom, another bomb drops. Yesterday, it was Kelsey Mitchell. Today we're talking about the one and only SOPHIE Cunningham officially signing with Project B. Yep, the plot around this new off-season basketball league just keeps getting thicker and more interesting. Now, for this one, we've got to take a quick trip back to Indiana, because now officially, two of the Indiana Fever's biggest stars have committed to Project B. And here's where it gets even wilder. Remember, neither of these players are currently under contract with the Fever due to the CBA and their one-year deals. So the timing here, absolutely perfect. But make no mistake, they were both massive pieces of that Fever identity. Kelsey Mitchell joined the league yesterday, and today, SOPHIE Cunningham steps right in. And this is one I know a lot of fans were waiting on. I mean, look at the numbers. Google Analytics had SOPHIE ranked as the third most searched WNBA player during the season. That is huge. That is not random. That is star power. And with SOPHIE heading to Project B, this league just gained a massive jolt of visibility, personality, and pure fan engagement. SOPHIE has been climbing that popularity ladder for a while now. She's tough, she's marketable, she's entertaining, and she brings a different type of energy that fans love. So yeah, very, very interesting developments. Project B is not playing around, and these signings are starting to look real serious. Stay tuned because this story is far from over. Here's said, there has been a lot of chatter surrounding Project B, which is a new global women's basketball league that's set to launch in the fall of 2026. The league is 5-on-5, will feature 6 11-player teams, and will take place during the WNBA offseason. Therefore, while it won't compete with the WNBA, it will compete against the unrivaled 3-on-3 women's basketball league that includes many of women's basketball's top players. But many elite WNBA stars have already agreed to play in Project B next year, including 10-time WNBA All-Star Nneka Agwamike and 2023 WNBA scoring champion Jewell Loyd, to name a few. Guys, we've got to keep one key thing in mind here, and it's something that makes Project B way more appealing than Unrivaled. This new league is 5-on-5 basketball, full squats, full intensity. And honestly, that's been one of the biggest issues with Unrivaled. It's 3-on-3, not 5-on-5. That changes everything: spacing, flow, competition, the entire feel of the game. Fans want to see real team basketball, real rotations, real matchups, and Project B is delivering exactly that, which is why so many players and fans are paying attention right now. On November 24th, news broke that Indiana Fever star guard Kelsey Mitchell will also be playing in the league next season.
Yes, sir. Unbelievable. Hi guys. Kelsey Mitchell here. I just want to say thank you to Project B for this opportunity. I think it's an unbelievable opportunity to really showcase who we are as athletes at a high level on the international stage. And I want to trade this experience for the world. And I'm grateful that Project B looked at me as an athlete to want to take on this opportunity. So I'm excited and I can't wait to get to work. Hi guys. Kelsey.
SOPHIE Cunningham addresses reason for joining Project B. Let's just go over here. She also dropped the video.
For it is giving guys, I'm so excited to announce that I'm actually joining Project B's athlete roster. I'm so thrilled for it. It is giving women's basketball a platform that is much deserving, not only here in the United States, but across the world. So come on this journey with us. Guys, I'm so excited.
Definitely, no doubt. Here's someone said, the signing of SOPHIE Cunningham elevates Project B into must-watch TV territory. Here said, get your bag, girl, but still #run it back 2026 with Fever, please. Yeah, man, absolutely.
Hers, someone said, fair play, Soph. It will be interesting to see over the coming months what other Fever players follow you and Kelsey. You've really got to ask yourself, is Lexi Hull next in line? Because honestly, with a minimum salary of $2 million a year on the table, and that's just the starting point, it wouldn't be surprising at all. I'm super curious to see how these contract numbers start rolling out. Once the salaries become public, things are going to get real interesting real fast. Hey, let's go, Sophie. Here said, give us updates how we can watch the games, please. Man, a lot of people are starting to wonder about this. I'm seeing more and more fans asking, how do you even watch the games for this league? Where do you tune in? How do you actually watch it? This is about to get really interesting. Someone said, I'm sad. I support Sophie, but I don't like people helping Saudi Arabia and its ghastly, brutal leaders to sports wash their hideous government. It's sport, bro. Someone said gross and disappointing. Enjoy that blood money, I guess. Let's go here. Here said.
The women's players it has signed so far are big names, getting big salaries that could shake up women's basketball across the globe. Project B is luring players with what FOS reported were annual salaries over $2 million. The WNBA Supermax last year paid under $300,000, and the league has still not offered players a max salary over $1 million in its ongoing and contentious labor negotiations. The players are also receiving equity in the new league, as is increasingly common in emerging leagues.
We've got to keep in mind Jonquel Jones, Jewel Lloyd, Camila Cardoso, and remember, several of these stars never even touched Unrivaled. Jonquel didn't go, Sophie didn't go, Camila didn't go. That alone makes things even more interesting as this new league unfolds. Let's go here. Here said, onlookers have observed that Project B followed players on social media shortly before announcing they'd committed to join. By the way, their front office sports is now pointing out something. Yeah, they're pointing out the league follows European stars and Liberty players Leonie Fiebig and Marine Johannes. It also follows retired WNBA players Diana Taurasi and Shanae Agumike, Nneka's younger sister. All right, there was speculation how much Project B money Project B is raised. It says it does not include any Saudi Arabia dollars. The company does have a deal with Sela, the Saudi events company, but the deal involves Project B paying Sela. Okay, so they're paying the Saudis. I will say this. I like the fact that Steve Young is involved. Yeah, former 49ers quarterback, NFL MVP, and Novak Djokovic is also one of the investors. Man, I find all of this really interesting. And there she is, Sophie Cunningham. Honestly, I had a feeling this move was coming. It just felt like Sophie was destined to jump to Project B sooner rather than later. And if you've been paying attention, you've probably noticed the same thing I have. There's been this handful of players staying unusually quiet. No announcements, no big hints, nothing. And sometimes silence tells you way more than the noise. You really start to see a pattern when you look at who's not playing in Unrivaled. Sure, Kelsey shows up there and a couple others do too, but let's be real, when there's this kind of money on the table, nobody's turning it down just to stay in a smaller league. Project B is coming in huge, and honestly, I think Unrivaled is finished. It had potential, but once these names started heading out, the writing was on the wall. And here's where things get really exciting. We're down to about 3 major names fans are still waiting on. And let's cut straight to it. The biggest one is Caitlin Clark. Everybody knows it. Project B knows it. The fans know it. Hell, the whole basketball world knows it. If Project B lands Caitlin Clark, the league takes off instantly. That's just the truth. The other 2 names everyone's watching closely are Asia Wilson and Angel Reese. Angel isn't in Unrivaled, and Asia hasn't played in any offseason league at all. That makes things very interesting. There is a real chance Caitlin Clark walks into Project B and becomes one of the highest paid players in women's basketball history. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts below. Peace, I'm out. Till next time, and as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.